Alright everybody, welcome back. Real quick before I get this video started, I just want to say thank you for everybody who subscribed. I'm at 962 subscribers right now. I'm this close to that 1,000 subscriber mark and monetizing the channel. So if you guys could, if you like the videos, the coyote hunt's coming up. I'm going to do the best I can. I promise you guys I'm going to bring you as many videos as I can. I'm going to do more with the food plot stuff this year. Last year I kind of slacked off a little bit. So if you could, please go down, hit that subscribe button, help me out, help me get to 1,000 subscribers, and I will be the happiest guy on the planet. So before we get started with this video, I just want to say that, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. We got some great hunts coming up. Welcome back. Today we are going to I put up an Instagram poll if people wanted to know some of the terminology and just some of the gear that we use for this coyote hunting. Coyote hunting is with the Hounds is by far my most popular video, so a lot of people show a lot of interest to it, and I know I do a lot of talking in them videos, and this is going to be a video where there's a lot of talking and explaining. So if you really have a lot of interest in the gear that I'm using, from the gun, the choke, the ammo, the tracking unit, the Garmin tracking unit, to really what I'm wearing when I'm out there and some of the terminology, so you guys better understand what's going on throughout these hunts, then this is going to be the video for you. I have two videos that I have to edit. One's a really good one. You guys are going to have to stay tuned for that. I did get a coyote on film on Sunday. So Saturday we got 2 of them. We hunted Sunday again and we got 3. So we got 5 this weekend. I have 2 videos that I'm going to put up of that hunt. So that's going to be really cool. I'm pretty excited to do that. And but I guess for now we will jump right into I guess I'll get the boring stuff out of the way. The terminology, some of the words that we use that if you're not a houndsman, maybe you might not be familiar with. Cutting. When we cut the dogs, that means we are letting the dogs go on the track. They're down and going, which means when I say down and going, that means the coyote has jumped up out of a bed, or the dogs have at least caught up to it, and the run is essentially hot and heavy. So cutting the dogs would be letting them loose. When we're up and going, that would be, the coyote's up, running in front of the dogs, chase is on, hunt's on, we're ready to shoot. Bay up. If you ever hear me say bait up, that means the coyote has gone either into a brush pile, a log, some kind of a den, and the dogs are pretty much just circling the coyote, depending on what he's in or what situation it exactly is. We have a lot of steep ravines around here that have, really big, deep caves in them, especially down the road from my house here. We run in, if we get into there, there's definitely a chance that a coyote could get into something down there. Across the street, we found a big hollowed out log. We've had coyotes go up and hollowed out logs before. Just, if you ever hear me say bait up, that means the coyote is bait up and he's in one spot. Dogs are circling him, and we just got to get to him and figure out what the heck is going on. If we need to just grab the dogs and get out of there, or if there's some way we can get to the coyote, we will try to get the coyote. Trying to think of anything else. Let's see here. Let's see, what else is. So when you guys hear me talk about a block, what a block means is it is a block of woods, a block of property that is, we're covering. It's a north road, south road, east road, and a west road. So that would be a block. That entire woods, or that entire area within that north, south, east, and west road, that's what we call a block. So if they bust the block, that means they're out of the block. They cross the road, or they're trying to cross the road, and they get into a different block, across the road, into a different piece of property, timber, field, whatever it may be, in that certain perimeter block. That's what I'm talking about. It's whatever covers the north, south, and east road, whatever's inside that would be a single block. Free cast. If you're free casting dogs, or they're just hunting around. If you hear me say free cast, they're hunting around. The dogs are loose, they're down, but they're not necessarily jumped. They don't have the coyote jumped up, and they're not actively running the coyote. They're just out searching for tracks, searching for coyote scent, looking for beds, looking for whatever they can find to get the coyote up and going, looking for the track, the best track. And I guess I'll take that right into backtracking. If you hear me say backtrack, you'll probably hear me say this one quite a bit. If you get to a backtrack, when the coyote makes a loop, a lot of times coyotes will make the same loop more than once. So if you hear me say that I'm going to the backtrack, or I have the backtrack right here, that just means that's where the coyote has already ran through. He's done it once. A lot of times if you get there, there's a good chance a coyote could do it again. The obvious stuff, you know, pinch point. If you hear pinch point, a pinch point is just a narrow spot in the woods. So I guess I'm trying to think of any more terminology. If I think of anything throughout this video, I'll bring it up. But I guess at this point I will get into some of the gear side. I guess I'll start with some of the simple stuff, and then I'll get more into some of the technical stuff. First off, very simple, just a leash. Let me make sure you guys can see here. Just a leash. I just have a dog leash. It's got double clips on it. I've taken as many as 3 dogs out of the woods before. You just got to clip them on both ends. That's one thing that's very simple that everybody has in case you got to catch your dogs or whatever. So just real simple leash. And then I will go into kind of, I guess, what I wear. I always have a neck gaiter with me, just a real simple one, just to keep the wind off my neck. Get the neck gaiter. For gloves, I use the deerskin gloves. There's a couple other guys that use deerskin gloves. I like them. They're fairly water repellent. They keep your hands warm. They're super easy to take on and off, and they grip my gun really good. And then for like base layers, I wear 2 sets of base layers in my pants, and then I have a real thin Sitka pant. It's not insulated that I wear over top of those. And then for my top layer, I also wear 2 thermal layers, and then I wear a sweatshirt, and then my top layer. So my top layer is like an army surplus, you know, like the old school army camo, like this. It's just a white, black, and gray snow camo. Nothing fancy, nothing special. It's just army surplus, and the reason I wear that is it has a radio pocket here, and it has another radio pocket here, so I can keep my GPS unit on one side, and I keep my radio on the other side. I don't have to pull my radio out. I can just grab it and talk into it like this. So it works out really good. And then the other good thing about it is the outside is really tough material. Pricker bushes, they get through it, but they don't rip it up. So, you know, there's a lot of days that I'm walking through the woods. You know, there's a lot of days I'm doing on average between 6 and 10 miles a day of walking. So having that extra guarded, you know, that army surplus material, it's nice because it's tough, it's durable. I'm not ripping up my good clothes. This stuff is cheap. If I do have to replace it, I think it's like 30 bucks for the jacket and $35 for the pants or something. You can get them right on Amazon. They're fairly cheap. Well, I guess maybe since COVID they might have went up. I haven't bought a pair in a few years. So anyways, that's what I wear on the outside. It's tough. It doesn't allow my inner good heavy duty nice layers to get ripped up. So sorry if the furnace just kicked on and it's bothering you guys, but it's pretty cold there. It's like 19 degrees today. So that is that. That's what I wear on the outside, just to protect everything on the inside. That's, you know, either my Sitka stuff is really expensive, or the soft shell stuff that would just get really tore up from all the briars and red brush and pricker bushes and multiple rows and stuff like that. So I guess as far as that go, I guess I can show you this. One other thing I always carry with me is extra just AA batteries. They go into my Garmin unit. This thing runs through batteries like crazy. They all do. And then another simple thing is just a simple drag rope. I got a little handle on it and just a little lasso knot, and you can hook that around the coyote's mouth, and nice handle for dragging them out. I forgot that the other day and I had to use my leash to drag the coyote out. So I guess that is the really simple part of what I'm carrying with me. I guess I'll get into some of the more technical gear. Radios. We used to use some radios that a guy would get. He would always get them for us and program and everything into them. They're big, long. I can't remember if they're VHF or UHF. I want to say, does it say on here? It does not. I don't know. I'm not really good with the radio technology. As far as remember if it's VHF or UHF, I can't remember any of that stuff. But these are the radios we're using right here. It is just a Motorola, I believe it is it says back here, the XPR 7350 is the radio that we're using, the Motorola XPR 7350. So real simple radio. I think it's a 20-watt radio, so it has really good reach. You know, these guys can be miles and miles south, and if for some reason I can't hunt that day, you know, but I'm home or whatever, or if I want to just take the radio with me, I can listen to these guys on the radio as they're running. For most of these guys, sometimes they're 30 miles away and I can still hear them clear as day like they're in the backyard. So really nice radio. We do not own these radios. These radios are all rented. We rent them through a local radio communications company. So we rent these radios every single year for 3 months. We have our own individual channel, so there's no interference with anybody else, because whoever owns the channel or rents the channel has to approve of any other radios getting that channel. So it works kind of nice. Nobody else is getting, we're not mixing in radio communications with any other group around, because we have our own specific channel for our group. So that makes it pretty nice. The one thing I don't like about these radios is they're delayed to talk. So you got to push the button, wait for the beep, and then you got to talk. And I find that, you know, usually somebody else is talking, or sometimes I forget and to wait for the beep, and then half my sentence is cut off, and you got to say it again. And the other thing I don't like is the volume. I don't want to say volume control on here, because the volume control knob is very easy to use, but just the volume in general. You know, one guy could be talking real quiet like this, and then the next guy comes over the radio and he's screaming like this, and you know, it all depends on how close you have the radio to your mouth and how loud you talk. So it's super hard to find a good overall happy medium on the volume turnkey with this, because some guys are talking louder into it or closer to their mouth. Other guys are talking quiet and you can't hear them. So if you keep it down too far, when the guys are quiet talking, you gotta dang near hold it up to your ear to hear it. And sometimes you don't even hear it at all. But if you leave it too loud to hear the quiet guys, then when the louder guys get on there, it's very loud. It's extremely loud, and it's kind of difficult. Some guys wear earpieces. I don't know. They say they like them, but they say they fall out. So I don't think I would like the fact that they're falling out all the time. And I don't like things up here by my ear. I don't wear sunglasses very often or anything. So I just leave the radio the way it is, and I just kind of have my hand close to it all the time. So if I got to turn it down a little bit, I can. So another terminology with the radio. If you ever hear me say I'm shutting down, what that means is I'm turning my radio off, so there's no sound coming through. If them guys are talking, then I won't hear it. My radio is turned all the way down, so if the coyote's close, he won't hear the radio. Anything like that. So if you hear me say shutting down, that means I'm just turning the volume on my radio way down so people can still talk without interfering with my hunt if the coyote's close. So that's what we use for radios. I guess I will get into the Garmin unit. This is a Garmin Astro 430. It works okay. It works for everything I need it for. I do have the bird's eye unit on it. For those of you who are not familiar with the Garmin tracking units and stuff, this is the 430. I used to have the 330. I sold the 330 to get the 430. A lot of the guys are running the T100s or T100s, or no, the Alpha 100s or the Alpha 200s, which is a touchscreen unit. and they actually have collar control functions on them as well. And then you can actually, with those ones, it GPS's your unit. So if you have the track code, or I don't know if it's a track code or just a GPS code, you can actually track and see where everybody else is in the woods with the, you know, adjacent to where the dogs are and stuff. So the touchscreen units are definitely nicer. I'm pretty simple. This is about all I can run. I could probably figure out the other units, but this is really all I need. You know, I don't have a dog. I don't have any collars. I just use this as a reference. I mostly use this in blocks that I'm not 100% familiar with. These blocks around here where I'm hunting, I am extremely familiar with them. I've been hunting in these blocks for 10 years. In these certain blocks that we hunt all the time, and I don't think there's a tree that you could drop me off of that I haven't been next to or where I didn't know where I was. I know these blocks like the back of my hand. I don't really use this near as much when we are around here, just because in reference to where I can hear the dogs, I pretty well have a good idea where they are in reference to the blocks that we're hunting here. So when we're hunting around here, I don't use that near as much. Most of the time I don't even have it on, just to save battery. But if we're hunting down south with the other guys, there's some blocks down there I am absolutely not familiar with, some of them not at all. So that comes in big handy down there. With the bird's eye view, I can see, you know, it's satellite imagery, so I can see, I can zoom out and see pinch points or whatever, maybe places that I want to get to. Makes it really nice. So that's that. I guess we'll get into my gun and ammo and choke and stuff. So for ammo, I am using these Winchester Super X 12 gauge 3.5 inch 54 pellet number 4 buckshot. You guys can see that that's what I'm using. They work good. They pattern really good out of my gun, and as long as you hit the coyotes even remotely good, it knocks them stone dead. So really been super happy with these. I like the 3.5 inch because 3.5 inch allows me to get that little bit extra reach if I need it. Not that I ever really push myself. You know, 60 yards is about my max, even with 3.5 inch. If there was a wounded coyote, I would, you know, I'd push it a little bit further, and I would just have to, you know, do my Kentucky windage on elevation and lead if the coyote's running. So that's the ammo I'm using. So this is what we're using. Kicks buck kicker extra full buckshot choke tube from Kicks. It works really well. A lot of guys are using this, and a lot of guys really like the pattern that it throws, and I find it paired with the Winchesters, it patterns very well, and it's really deadly. Shotgun. This is a Stoeger M3500. I have a GoPro mount back here in case I want to put the GoPro on the side of the gun so you guys can get a down the gun barrel view. I just tried that this year, and the coyote that I shot Sunday, I had that, so I'm pretty interested to see what you guys say about that. This is a Stoeger M3500. It's got the oversized bolt on it, the oversized bolt release, and I have a fiber optic extra. I took off the factory fiber optic. It was really big, and for turkey hunting I wanted something smaller, so I put a smaller green fiber optic on there, and I've absolutely loved that. So this is the gun I'm using, Stoeger M3500, with the 3.5 inch number 4 buck and a Kicks buck kicker choke tube. That's my gun setup. This is a budget gun that functions as good as I ever need a shotgun to function. Really never have any issues with the gun, and I don't want to be buying like a, you know, a really nice Super Black Eagle or a Woodstock gun or anything like that for the coyote hunting, because it just, this gun gets, you know, the leash gets dragged over it. You you know, I'm setting up against trees in the snow all the time. Snow's falling out of the branches, landing on the gun. You know, it's just, the gun gets the crap beat out of it, and it's a budget gun that functions as it should. Never had an issue with the gun, except for the click last year, but that wasn't the gun's fault. That was a bad shell. So that had nothing to do with the gun itself. That was just happened to be a bad shell that I put in that day. So that's that. I guess people are going to ask, you know, and people not only ask but see that we are running on a ton of different property. Guys, we do have permission on everything. I know in my hometown right here, between the three of us who are asking permission, we talked to, I think it's like 60 different landowners just in this town. And that gets us access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 blocks here in my hometown that we hunt. And in them 6 blocks, we're talking to 60 plus people just to get enough permission around the entire block. So when we go, you know, we don't have to be knocking on doors as we go. We have already pre-sealed the permission and are ready to go. Some landowners like us to contact them before we go, which is fine. We always do that. Not a big deal. We don't find it's not a hassle. We always give them a call or a text message the night before saying, hey, you know, we might be in there tomorrow, or that morning before, hey, we're going to be in here, or hey, we're not going to be here today. I try to keep the landowners up to date, and so does Jim, as much as possible throughout the day as things go on. So that's the gun, that's the gear, that's my GPS unit, that's the radio we're using, the shells I'm using, what I carry with me most times, what I'm wearing, some of the terminology. Hopefully that helps you guys out as we go through the videos this year, and hopefully we can get a lot of coyotes on film. Them guys have been hammering them so far. I believe we're up to, I think we're up to 14 coyotes so far. So them guys hunt a lot. Some of them guys are laid off from work during the winter time, so they have a lot of time to go out, and if we have snow, they're going out pretty much every single day. I'm fairly limited to when I can go out. I have pretty much weekends, unless we have a random half day or short day at work, or, you know, no work, which this year doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So but regardless, that's that. I hope that helps you guys better understand some of the videos this year, so I don't have to talk as much about explaining what's going on other than what's actively happening through the hunt. I know guys say talk less, shut up, or, you know, show more of the hunt or whatever, but I don't want my videos to ever be confusing. And so the coyote hunt is so fast paced, so there's so much change and action all the time. You know, for 1 minute you could go from the dogs absolutely pounding to the dogs being on a loss, which means they don't have the track for an hour or two. We might spend 2 hours trying to find the track or find out where the coyote went. It's a very, very fast-paced, very fast-changing in action style of hunting. There's nothing I can really do about that. And these videos are really hard to film because, you know, these dogs, you know, they're running full bore. You know, these coyotes are moving sometimes, you know, 15, 20 miles an hour, literally, when they come by you. So if a coyote comes by me, you know, he's 400 yards away within 30 seconds. It's hard to capture the action when it happens, come and go so fast. It just a split second is all it happens, and, you know, I turn the camera on as much as I can so you guys can hear the dogs pounding through the woods. But there's some days I might not even hear the dogs, or if I do hear them, I can hear them barely, but the camera's not going to pick them up. I try to leave those videos out because they're just not as entertaining. I want my channel to be very, very entertaining to you guys. So I try my best, but this style hunting is extremely hard to film. You know, I'm one of sometimes 10 guys in the woods, so I'm not always the one that's going to be killing the coyote. I try to kill as many as I can, of course, but there's also 9 to 10, I'm going to say 6 to 10 other guns in the woods with me. So it's hard for me to, you know, I'm not always going to be the one that's going to kill the coyote. It's just not always going to happen, and I'm always not going to be one that's the hottest in the action. So it's a very fast-paced, very fast-changing style of hunting. So I hope you guys can understand that, and You know, realize that, you know, if I sound like I am talking a lot, it's probably because I don't want you guys to get confused. I hate watching videos that are confusing, and I don't ever want my channel to be like that. I want you guys to know what's going on, try to understand things. So, because this is very hard. If you don't do this, it can be hard to understand what's going on and maybe why I'm not filming the action as much. If I'm not filming the action, it's because I'm just not around it. If there's something going on, then I'm going to film it. So it's extremely hard for me to do, to catch it on film and, you know, get a lot of it because it's so fast. You know, like I said, there's a lot of times I'm only hot in the action for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I can't hardly make a 10-minute video out of that, and everything that happens around that, you know, I could turn the camera on 1 minute and I could turn the camera on an hour later, and we might be 3 blocks away. That's just how it goes sometimes. So it's very, very hard for me to catch everything on film. So I hope you guys understand that, and understand that if I'm doing some talking, I'm simply just trying to explain it and keep you guys informed on what's going on so you're not confused on what you're watching. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know you guys are going to enjoy these coyote videos that are coming up. They should be really, really good. So I can't wait to bring them to you. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you haven't, please, please, please go down and hit the subscribe button. I'm getting super, super close to my 1,000 subscriber mark, and I would love to hit it here within the next couple videos. That would be absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you who comment, like on the video. It means the world to me, more than you guys could ever know, because I do. I put a lot of effort in this. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. So I appreciate it. Thank you, every single one of you guys who are subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.